Hello and welcome to Temple Street, the show brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism at Suffolk University. I'm Shauna Newcomb.
I'm Rachel Wardwell.
And I'm Alexa Kay. On today's show, we will report on the damage left behind by this past winter, the ongoing heroin epidemic, and how Obamacare is helping people get the health care they need.
Later, we'll report on how a Massachusetts family overcame the tragic death of their daughter in Haiti. We'll take a look at how a local university's engineering group is helping the disabled, and we'll hear what Bostonians have to say about hosting the Olympics in Boston. As always, we'll end with our critic at large, Rachel Wardwell. What do you have in store for us today, Rachel?
Well, Shauna, today I'm going to be talking about how the media encourages stereotypes.
I can't wait to hear about that. But first, we have more on our top story, the effects of this past winter's rage.
This winter's record-breaking snowfall, combined with frigid temperatures, has left cities and towns across Massachusetts with a major maintenance deficit. Temple Street reporter Dior Serra reports on the aftermath of a historically fierce winter.
Broken fences, damaged ceilings, and torn-apart roads are just a few of the many issues residents are dealing with after a brutal winter.
And the potholes around the city, it's difficult to get around some areas. You get more potholes, you get traffic. And then you get people that are messing their cars up around the area, so it is more difficult.
However, for all the misery potholes cause drivers, there is always someone who benefits, and that is the people who fix tires.
We've had probably tire repairs and damage due to potholes double this season alone.
As we approach warmer weather, drivers should be extra cautious of hidden potholes submerged in water.
Both of these tires were blown out due to potholes. Total repair cost on each tire is about $223.
Governor Charlie Baker has set up a new fund that will donate $30 million to the state, helping cities and towns repair road damage. Baker says this additional support will allow for municipal workers to patch up potholes and address local repairs as needed. For now, temporary repairs are being made within the state until warmer weather allows for permanent fixes. For Temple Street, Dior Serra.
If you happen to see a pothole, please contact MassDOT at 857-DOT-INFO.
Opiate use has been declared a statewide emergency because heroin overdoses and deaths have plagued Boston's suburban youth. Recovery high schools are offering a different approach. Temple Street reporter Kaya Dunn has more on the North Shore Recovery High School.
I started with sniffing heroin and told myself I'd never put a needle in my arm, and then a few weeks later, I was. The face of heroin is, it's this.
Heroin is an addictive and fatal opioid, and suburban teens are the ones getting hooked. In December 2014, state police recorded 114 deaths caused by heroin overdoses.
Everybody in every high school in Massachusetts knows where to go to get the drugs.
Located in Beverly is North Shore Recovery High School, a high school that focuses on helping students graduate while being treated for their addiction.
I think we have to really look at addiction as a disease, and we have to look at early intervention and prevention.
With daily support groups and an emphasis on art and poetry, Recovery High School provides students with a nurturing environment where they can achieve sobriety, but sobriety doesn't come easy.
I always said when I was younger, once I'm 18, I'll stop, it will be good. It doesn't matter if I use now, and I just recently turned 18 and I was still really struggling.
Recovery High School is not a rehab, but the staff can find treatment programs for students in need. Teachers say they make it their top priority to send schoolwork to students in treatment.
I was actually in a treatment center in New Hampshire the day that I graduated from high school here.
Recognizing addiction can be difficult. Recovery High School's goal is to break the stereotype of what heroin users look like today.
Heroin addiction can look like a varsity athlete and straight-A student from an affluent suburban high school.
With an increase in teen heroin use, North Shore Recovery High School is an accepting community and a safe haven for addicted teens. With 106 graduates since 2008, the school officials say they will continue their fight for education and addiction awareness.
I struggled while I was here, but because of this place, I'm okay today.
For Temple Street, I'm Kaya Dunn.
Suffolk University also offers substance abuse counseling at the Wellness Center.
5 years ago, the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, was signed into law by President Obama. Although unpopular with many Republicans, supporters say the law has already saved lives, including one North Carolina woman. Temple Street reporter Crystal Chandler brings us the story.
This is Astrid Muhammad, a wife, mother of two, and cardio dance instructor. Astrid says she's alive today because Obamacare covered her expensive brain surgery. Less than a year ago, this is what she looked like. It all began, she says, with a ringing in her ears known as tinnitus.
My tinnitus actually sounded like crickets, so it was pretty annoying. So I went to the clinic, and they had told me, take some Sudafed and stuff because you probably have allergies, and, there could be a number of things that cause tinnitus.
Eventually, Astrid seemed to be symptom-free, but then...
The tinnitus is back. I have headaches, I have nystagmus, and my balance is off.
So in 2013, Astrid saw a doctor who discovered the worst.
He said, yeah, so it looks like you have a small tumor.
But without health insurance, brain surgery was not an option. So she signed up for Obamacare in March 2014, and in August of that year, had the tumor removed. Her surgeon told her family that she was lucky to be alive.
And he said, she really had an angel sitting on her shoulder. Had this been 2 years later, she would have died.
Astrid says without the new law, no health insurance would cover such an expensive surgery since her tumor was considered a pre-existing condition. So she decided to write a letter to President Obama.
What I said was, thank you, like in all caps. Because of you, I'm alive. I just want to let you know, you're doing a great job. And I believe I told him, I'd just like to be able to thank you in person.
And to her surprise, she got the opportunity to do just that. Not only did President Obama personally write back to her, she was invited to the White House for the State of the Union address and is now one of the faces of health care.
In the past year alone, about 10 million uninsured Americans finally gained the security of health coverage.
Now that she's tumor-free, Astrid Muhammad is continuing to recuperate, but she can now fully enjoy her children, husband, and a healthy lifestyle, thanks to Obamacare.
I'm going to be turning 40 in October, so what do I do now for my birthday? I've already gone to the White House.
For Temple Street, I'm Crystal Chandler.
Despite the 10 million who have benefited from affordable health care, repealing Obamacare is one of the main objectives on the Republican agenda for the upcoming presidential election.
It's also been 5 years since the earthquake in Haiti. I know you've been working hard on a story. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I actually have been, Alexa, and I've become quite inspired by one story in particular. While the aftermath of the 2010 Haiti earthquake that left 300,000 dead still lingers, one Massachusetts family was able to transform this horrible tragedy into a triumph. I met with the family and have this story. Overwhelmed at the sheer magnitude of poverty in Haiti, 19-year-old Brittany Gengel of Holden, Mass. Was eager to lend a helping hand during her school mission trip. Inspired by the love she received from the children, Brittany sent the following text to her mother. "They love us so much and everyone is so happy. They love what they have and they work so hard to get nowhere. They're so appreciative. I want to move here and start an orphanage myself." 3 hours later, disaster struck and a parent's worst nightmare became a reality.
She was just a regular kid like any other kid, and I'm really proud of the woman that she was becoming. We will get this project done. It will happen. We will make Brittany's last wish come true.
Vowing to fulfill their daughter's wish, Brittany's parents have dedicated their lives to the Be Like Brit Foundation. 2 years after the earthquake, a 19,000 square foot orphanage was assembled in the shape of the capital letter B. Cheryl Ann Gengel, Brittany's mother and co-founder of Be Like Brit, says this journey is helping her stay positive.
Best part for me, one of the best parts, is that through this horrific tragedy, you get to see the good in people.
Len Gengel, a home builder for 30 years, led the construction of the earthquake-proof building in the U.S. Operations Center in Worcester, Mass. Volunteers or self-proclaimed Brittionaries, including respiratory therapist Bill Salam, says volunteering in Haiti is rewarding.
Brit's parents are amazing, the most amazing people I've ever met, and they inspire me.
Be Like Brit helps more than just the girls and boys in the orphanage. They also help the surrounding community by providing 7,000 gallons of fresh water a day to helping with the construction of sturdy homes. From heartache to happiness, the tragic death of a compassionate young woman continues to inspire many. For Temple Street, I'm Shauna Newcomb. To donate or sponsor a child and become a Brittionary for as little as $1 a day, visit the Be Like Brit website at belikebrit.org for more information.
What started off as one student's senior capstone project has become a successful student group on the campus of Northeastern University. Temple Street reporter Siobhan Sullivan has more on the students who take what they learn in the classroom and apply it to helping others.
Every Thursday, more than 60 individuals get together with one goal in mind, working together to help others.
You know, the group means a lot because it's an actual real application of you know, helping people who are actually in need out there.
Enabling Engineering defines itself as a student group that applies engineering technologies to build low-cost devices that improve the lives of the elderly and individuals with physical or cognitive disabilities. Faculty advisor Walid Malise founded the group after seeing the potential in a project of one of his former students.
It's a different way of learning that is stimulating, and I think it's great. It's a great part of the educational process.
President of Enabling Engineering, Jacob Holstein, says his group is one that people can depend on.
A lot of people have issues and they don't really know how to solve them. Some people go to psychiatrists, some people go to physical therapists for help. For us as engineers, we can be one of those people they can come to.
The group is currently working on about 20 projects.
Let's see if this actually works. It does work.
Including a walker to help the elderly get up after a fall, and a smartphone app to help those with vision impairments travel safely. But one of the most recent successes is a project allowing individuals with locked-in syndrome, a condition of paralysis except for eye movement, express themselves.
The individual we're actually working with is locked in. He can't communicate with his caregivers, his family. He's a son. We're very close to allowing him to type sentences and communicate for the first time.
Vice President Adora Jackson is currently overseeing the development of a touchscreen guard.
It's for the students at the South Shore Educational Collaborative, and so they have a lot of trouble with motor control, so they'll go to press a button and they'll end up swiping or exiting out of the app, and so it was just a guard that they made to go over it to be able to push a specific button.
Enabling Engineering is beneficial to both members and end users, but Malise says watching his students grow and apply what they're learning is a great feeling.
By breaking down these boundaries and tackling real-world problems and interacting with real end users while educating our students and training them, it's very rewarding. It feels like we're doing the right thing at the right time, in the right place.
For Temple Street, I'm Siobhan Sullivan.
Enabling Engineering is always looking for new members and ideas. If interested, you can contact the group and learn more.
Boston has been selected to compete as the U.S. city to host the 2024 Olympics. Reporter Savannah Mediano took to the streets to see why local citizens in Boston are divided on whether the city can manage this event.
I actually don't think it's a very good idea. I'm not sure that the infrastructure is in place to handle the additional tourism and the additional population coming through. And to be honest, it was really hard for me to get to work in the last few months, and I would dread having to come into the city during that kind of event.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great thing for the economy. I mean, I think people are going to get, there's going to be plenty of jobs for people. I think it's going to be, something that we need here in Boston. I mean, a lot of people are out of work. There's a lot of homeless people around that, could potentially get jobs from it. I think there's any reason why we should not have the Olympics here at all.
I would love to actually take part in the 2024 Olympics, not like as an Olympian, but just more like a viewer. So.
Vision systems are crowded enough as is, so I feel like there's just going to be added stress to everyone.
I think I have mixed opinions. I think it could be a good thing, but I think it's a lot to take on, and I don't know if Boston's ready for it.
We don't have any room. Where are they going to build all the stadiums? Even if they say it's going to be sustainable in South Boston, it's not going to be, and it's not going to be used, and it's going to be a waste of money.
I think it's appropriate that it be put to a vote so people can decide. Also, they talked about, we're sitting right here on the public standing on the Boston Common, and there's talk about putting one of the venues very close to here. I'm very much opposed to that because they would cut down trees and ruin the landscape and it might never come back.
I think it's kind of cool. I think it'll bring a lot to the city. A lot of people, a lot of tourism, plus potentially money. It's interesting to see, I guess, the city's plans for the MBTA and how they want to expand on it and hopefully improve on it. So I think it'd be kind of good.
Though poll numbers currently show only a third of Bostonians support the 2024 Olympic bid, the U.S. Olympic Committee says it's still early and will make an effort to support the bid to the local residents.
It's surprising that only 1/3 of the population supports the Olympics coming to Boston, But then again, I'm not sure myself if the city would have the capacity and public transportation to have such a large crowd.
You know, you're right. I agree with you. Just this past winter alone, I had the worst time commuting. It was a nightmare. I guess we'll just have to watch and see. Anyways, we'll be right back after a short break where we will have a report on students' frustrations with Suffolk University smokers and a reflection of Suffolk's very own Dancing with the Stars.
We also have an interview with Judge Bornstein, and stay tuned for our Critics Corner with Rachel Wardwell. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Hello and welcome back to Temple Street. A select group of Suffolk Law students recently got the opportunity to go to Cuba for a program in family law and mediation. Veronica Barber sat down with Judge Isaac Borenstein to learn more about how law students benefit from this unique program.
Thanks, guys. I'm sitting here with Judge Isaac Borenstein and Suffolk Law student Gabby Lamano, talking about their recent trip to Cuba. Judge, can you tell me a little bit about what this educational trip entailed?
Well, we had been thinking about doing a course there, putting together 2 excellent law schools in 2 great cities to discuss issues of mutual interest in the law. And the topic came up months ago, well before December 17th, to do mediation, negotiation, especially in family law. Because that's probably the area of the law in Cuba that is closest to ours in similar topics and issues. So that's what was the generating discussion at our law school. I'm originally from Cuba. I have some relationship with colleagues at the University of Havana Law School, so we just engaged in these discussions. And then in March, Dean Nelson of the law school, Dean Seidman, Associate Dean Seidman, and myself went down. We met with them for 2 days, discussed a number of issues of mutual interest, and this was born from that.
President Obama recently announced that he is looking to normalize relations and possibly open Cuba up for tourism with the United States. What did that mean for you?
It was a total surprise to just about everybody in the world, except those involved very closely. So when I heard it on December 17th, I don't mind telling you, I burst out into tears because for me and many of my compatriots, we're such good neighbors, the peoples of both countries, and it's been hostile for 50-something years, difficult to go there, difficult for people to leave there, that it meant a whole opening up, a whole set of possibilities, the creation of hope. And it was perfect timing in terms of the topic for our course.
Right. So Gabby, you got to go on the trip.
I did.
Tell me a little bit about what you got to do while you were there.
Well, we did study, as Judge Bornstein mentioned. It was a class, so we spent 5 days in class, and then outside of that, we had the city at our disposal, and we stayed in homes of local Cubans. We took the taxis and the local buses, and we kind of lived like locals for the 10 days that we were there. So we went to baseball games, we drank mojitos, we went to see the sights, and then we went to class.
So you were really immersed in the culture?
We were totally immersed in the culture.
Was anything surprising to you?
I think there was tons of surprises. Just taking the taxis was very entertaining.
What were the taxis like?
Well, so the taxis are called almendrones, and they're the very old, 1950s style cars that you see on TV, and that really is real. That's what you see in Cuba everywhere. And you get in, and it's, instead of taking a taxi here where it'll be an individual ride, it's everybody gets in. So there's 4 or 5 people in the car, and they're all getting off at different stops, and you just hop in, you tell them where you're going, and they drop you off there, and you give them a national local peso in return. I think that was maybe 20 cents a ride. So it was a fun and also cheap way to get around.
One of the immediate impressions that I think people get when they go to Cuba, and even I do, even though I was born there, is how willing people are to sit next to each other. There's physical contact with each other in these taxis everywhere you go. There's a connectedness on the street and the taxis everywhere between people talking, people yelling, people dancing, singing. The whole country is kind of moving and connecting with one another, usually in very friendly ways. And at the ball game, for example, which was packed at Havana Stadium, there were 30,000 people there. People are arguing with each other, fingers in their face, and almost barking and screaming at each other, never fist flying, but very emotional. And so the whole experience puts one in a position of a contrast to what we're normally used to here, where you sit on the tee, you look at your cell phone, you don't look at anybody out of fear or whatever.
I understand there were a lot of applicants. It was a really popular trip. Can you tell me a little bit about how you chose a student like Gabby? What went into that?
Well, she's an excellent student academically, serious, disciplined, mature. One thing you should know is a student like Gabby I knew would happen, and the other students too, forged very close relationships with the law students there, the faculty there. We're able to see past any language difficulty, culture difficulty, and really ongoing relationships that we have.
It's the Havana Law School, correct?
Specifically University of Havana Law School, although I went a few days early and also visited another law school in another large city, not quite as large as Havana, about 200,000 people, called Matanzas, and they have a law school, and we went, myself and the mediation group went there, and we did presentations for a whole day, and they're interested in also having a relationship.
Well, thank you both so much for being with me and taking time out of your day for this. Back to you guys.
Our pleasure.
The law school is planning more trips to areas in South America and the Caribbean, an opportunity for students to learn more about how law is applied to other cultures.
Dozens of students standing in front of the doorways, smoking in between classes, are frustrating other students. Ashley Proctor has more on what student groups are doing to move smokers away from the doors.
Suffolk University's policy says standing within 25 feet of the doorway while smoking is a violation. But since the sidewalks are not owned by the university, enforcement of this policy is limited.
Though they've put signs up on all the buildings saying, no smoking within this amount of distance, they have no enforcement powers.
With health concerns of exposing students to secondhand smoke, student groups like the SGA and Super have taken to the streets to personally ask smokers to move.
It's a matter of respect for people who don't smoke, and they're kind of making that choice for people who don't smoke and deciding to do it right in front of the doorways.
While some student smokers did move when asked, others didn't understand why they had to.
It's a tradition, they're stuck in their ways, and until somebody comes in and actually enforces it, I don't think that a student-to-student approach is actually going to change that anymore.
According to the peer health educators, 20% of Suffolk students are smokers, while the national average is at 13%. Super says they hope that the Great American Smokeout, held every November, will continue to increase health awareness and reduce the number of smokers on campus.
If you are a smoker, or you know other smokers, it makes you think, okay, well maybe I should start changing my behavior.
The SGA is taking initiative with Boston City Council members in hopes to find solutions to move smokers away from campus doorways. For Temple Street, I'm Ashley Proctor.
The Supers and SGA continue to urge people to kindly move across the street while taking a smoke break. Earlier this semester, some of Suffolk's biggest stars busted some moves for a good cause. Veronica Barber caught all the action.
The C. Walsh Theater was packed full on Thursday, February 26th, as crowds came to support Suffolk's first annual Dancing with the Stars. 10 pair teams consisting of one dancer and one campus star ranged from a law school dean to a basketball player. Each team was competing for the chance to win $200 for the charity of their choice. Among the many spectators was student body president Tyler LeBlanc.
They're going, and one of the judges tonight is Rami, and the vice president Colin is actually in the Rami suit, so it should be pretty funny.
The Student Leadership and Involvement Office is one of the offices that reports to me, and Dave, the director, wanted me to dance, and I can't dance, so I figured I had to stay involved, so I decided I'd host.
Competitors rehearsed for the big event for 6 weeks, coming up with their own choreography to perform in front of 4 judges from the Suffolk community. Adam Chick shared some of his personal competition philosophy with us before the show.
I expect nothing but perfection tonight. And if I don't win, in Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last.
Crowds cheered on their favorite teams, while judges gave positive feedback. One of the judges was Dean Ann Coyne, a former championship Irish dancer herself. In the end, audience members had the final say, as they voted for the winner by texting in their vote. Jared Gaudet and Assistant Dean Elizabeth Chingbush took home first place for their Michael Jackson tribute. For Temple Street, Veronica Barber with Alexa Kay.
Although there was a clear winning team, student leadership and involvement made sure to make a donation to each charity.
And now it's time for our Critics Corner with our critic at large, Rachel Wardwell. How's it going, Rachel?
It's going pretty good, Shona, but let me explain. Stereotypes play an important role in our perceptions and understandings of the people and world around us, but what makes them so powerful? Media researchers argue that as a society, we perpetuate stereotypes via TV shows, movies, social media, and music. Statistics have shown that stereotypes can lead to violence, especially against women and racial minorities. But although stereotypes tend to carry negative associations, there are some that prove to contain a small grain of truth. Take me, for example. I am a Korean American and have always been haunted by this clip.
How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody else!
I can't help but laugh when seeing this clip, but there is some unfortunate truth to this. My car insurance has doubled in the past 2 years because of my mishaps, and my poor mother should have never been issued a license. And if that is all the negative connotation about my people, then I guess I'll take it. But I can't say the same when it comes to African American stereotypes, often depicting them as drug dealers, rappers, and criminals. For example, a new television show recently aired on Fox called Empire about a black family running a major hip-hop label with characters that perpetuate the typical black stereotype. Rapper Bow Wow recently commented on his frustrations about the show and said, "We all don't rap or play basketball. We can do so many things." The show is filled with drama like shown in the next clip.
She was talking trash. Trash! No punk. Go back to jail, baby. Harassing me from the moment you arrived.
Is this how all black women settle conflict? I don't think so. Even white Americans suffer from racial stereotypes. Low-income Southerners are often portrayed as flannel-wearing, truck-driving country bumpkins. Shows like Duck Dynasty feature Uncle Si as the epitome of this image. Or there is the unfortunate Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, Trailer Park Boys, and even 16 and Pregnant. Yes, we must remember not every white male drives an F-150 and drink Bud Light. Some are like other types of beers. I'm kidding, of course. While these jokes are funny and TV shows like this are popular to viewers, they are dominating the media. But where is the line between humor and harm? We must remember the difference between poking fun at and making fun of those who are already in the margins. Just recently, we witnessed several tragic cases of racial profiling among police officers in Ferguson, Missouri, and New York. Cop shows like Law & Order encourage these stereotypes regularly. Change is possible if Hollywood writers and execs use more diversity in their characters. But until then, comedian Louis C.K. says it best. I'm not saying white people are better, I'm saying being white is clearly better.
I definitely agree that there's a fine line between something being funny and something just being mean. But I do have to say, I love Duck Dynasty.
I agree also with you, Rachel, that it's up to the writers to see the change that we want to see in Hollywood. But that show, Empire, is phenomenal. Cookie Lion, oh, that character, she is hysterical.
Oh, that Cookie, she is something else.
Well, that's all we have time for today. I'm Alexa Kay.
I'm Rachel Wardwell.
And I'm Shauna Newcomb. Thank you for watching Temple Street. We'll see you next time.